Today we'll have an overview of the different projects of the Wikimedia Foundation. And we will look more carefully at what Wikidata is. Then we will all together create a user. I will create one. And then we'll look into a Wikidata item to see what the content is. And we may like shift some item of the agenda may shift during the presentation. So without further ado, this was point one, overview. Let's have a look at the different Wikimedia projects. So this pictures illustrates 15 projects currently hosted by the Wikimedia Foundation. The most popular is certainly the encyclopedia, Wikipedia, that you are most probably familiar of. After I think 2 or 3 years after the Wikipedia encyclopedia was launched, they had a problem to manage the whole structure because it was very popular. This is where the Wikimedia Foundation was created. Basically, it was to manage the Wikipedia encyclopedia, and then other projects had joined. I will only describe 2 other ones. At the left of the Wikipedia logo, you have Creative Commons. That project has been created because the community quickly realized that having a picture, say for Canada, having a picture for the country in each Wikipedia was taking too much resources. So what they did is that they created one location where all the images and media files could be located. And this is probably the meaning of the logo. The red dots being commons, and the arrows would represent the different Wikipedia. So 2 or 3 years after the creation of Wikimedia, or is it in the Wikipedia, the Commons has been created, and this is where a central location where the pictures and movies are located and can be accessed from any Wikipedia, whatever its language. Second project, third project, and we go here at 5:30, 5 o'clock. It's a logo that means the dot, it's in Morse code, it means Wiki. This is the latest project that has been added to the Wikimedia projects family. And this one is a database. So we will look more carefully what is the difference between Wikipedia and Wikidata in a few minutes. But it's instead of being an encyclopedia, it's a free database that can be, it's an open database that can be accessed and edited by anyone. Free licenses. The project intellectual property management is core of all the Wikimedia projects. Here you have pictures displaying the most the content that has the most constraint, which is all right reserved here at the bottom, and going up to what we call Creative Commons 0, which is close from the closest we can be from the public domain, given the current legal constraint in different countries. And between those 2 licenses, there are different type of license that are used throughout different projects. So what you have to remember is that in Wikipedia, the default license is Creative Commons BY share alike, meaning that you have to acknowledge where the information the information is coming from, and you cannot remove the liberty given by this license. While in Wikidata, we use Creative Commons 0, meaning that people can use the content of Wikidata without given acknowledgement that it comes from Wikidata, and by giving other public intellectual property constraint. Well, so that's projects, free license, discovery. I just want to show you what are the advantages of being in Wikipedia or Wikidata. So what I did is that I took two names of people that, one that is in Wikipedia and another one that is not in Wikipedia or Wikidata, and did a simple Google search. Diana has a knowledge graph on the right side of the Google search, while Jorge Lozano Lorza doesn't have this knowledge card. So if you want to have this kind of knowledge card, one way of doing that, either for an institution or for someone, you can add the information on Wikipedia, or even easier on Wikidata. And that comes with that, it's an excellent segue for the next section. What is the difference between Wikidata and Wikipedia? So let's have a look at one Wikipedia page. Let's go at performing arts, for example. There you go. You can see this is an encyclopedia article. It's in free form. It has sentences. It has a structure that is decided by the authors that can change along the time. There is a picture on the right-hand side. So it's more like writing a book. There are a lot of choices that has to be made. So this is an encyclopedia article. And for each encyclopedia article, there's a Wikidata item that can be found, and it's sometimes hard. So what I do is that I do a search for Wikidata. On the left side, you can see there's always a Wikidata item. So let's have a look at performing arts Wikidata entry. And the main differences can be seen directly. First, performing arts is simply the label name in English of this item in Wikidata. Its real entity, the way it is identified, is with a number. That way we can reference it with many languages. It's not a problem. It only has a different label for one thing. For another thing, we can have many different items with the same name, say, for example, in English, without any problem, because they have another reference number. While in Wikidata, it's the title that is the way of identifying the entry. So we wouldn't have, it's impossible to have another entry with performing arts in Wikidata, in Wikipedia, while it's possible in Wikidata. And it's more like a card, so it's very formatted. And the first one is in every language, the label in a short description. And there is also aliases that you can put there. The first, we have statement, and we have someone that it's not muted. So we have statement, and it's an instant of academic discipline, and we have many statements like this. And at the bottom, we also have a section that is called identifiers that can identify this, in this case, an academic discipline. So that, and then let's have a look at the way it's called a predicate. It's a triplet, what it is in English, semantic triple. So the way we enter information in Wikidata is not by adding sentence and paragraph and structure like we find in Wikipedia, is by using what we call a triplet, RDF. So it's a subject, predicate, and object. I explain myself. The predicate, okay, subject is the item we want to describe. In this example, it's performing arts. The predicate in English, it's everything in a standard declarative sentence except the subject. So basically, you can see that as a verb, and then it depicts an object. So in this example, we have performing arts is an instance of academic discipline. And that way we can see academic discipline is also an entry in Wikidata. And academic discipline is second order class, which is something else that we won't get into today. We'll show you maybe last information about Wikidata. Currently, there are 95 million items already created, so we will probably have more than 100 million entry by 2022, I'm sure. And if you want to know what is depicted, I have a pie chart here. So we have a good chunk of it, 2.5, red. Scholarly articles, so 22 million of those 25 millions are about academic papers. The other topic is other, okay? And as you can see in yellow, architectural structure, j'avais pas. I thought I had something for art that I cannot find. Anyway, so that gives you an idea of the what is currently found on Wikidata, and there are like 6 million people described that has an item related to them.